Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. The starlight that has never been extinguished since the ancient times, fall from the eternal sky. Sheng's eyes glowed with a silver light as he looked up at the stars. He pointed at the palace in front of him and said softly, a starfall. The stars in the sky trembled and turned into thousands of meteors. They swept across the sky and exploded in the thunder prison. The power of the stars was enough to destroy the world. Qing's lightning slash was shattered by the meteors, and the broken night sky regrouped. Thousand Li ice ceiling jade heaven lightning, break. Qing Zhu's expression changed instantly. It clenched its hands and stood up. The lightning around its body became violent and gradually turned into a faint purple color, resisting the power of the fallen star. Purple lightning began to gather in front of it. Lightning flickered in its eyes, and it became colder and colder. Sheng's eyes narrowed as he looked at the purple lightning in the prison of thunder. He could not believe it. Little Qing, you're actually trying to form purple lightning? Do you want to die? Qing Zhu's eyes were cold as it said, I was formed from the Yi Qi in the world. Even the purple lightning is just a wisp of my evolution. As for you, with your trash cultivation base and armillary sphere, can you withstand my great void jade purple mansion Brahma divine thunder? I'm really looking forward to it, Sheng. Among the 5 elements, thunder was wood, and Taiyi Qi was the origin of all wood, which could evolve into thunder. Great void Yuqing purple mansion nirvana world destroying divine thunder, descend to the world. The purple lightning in front of Qing Zhu suddenly dispersed, and a mass of purple condensed in the sky. It frantically absorbed the power in the surroundings, dispersing the dark night. In the purple light, a thick bolt of lightning flashed and suddenly fell. Everywhere it passed, everything fell into nothingness. The boundary of the armillary sphere suddenly broke open, and the ancient starry sky shattered inch by inch. The grand microscopic armillary sphere trembled violently, and the golden tadpole-like characters flashed even faster. Sheng's face was ashen, and the murderous intent in his eyes was almost tangible. The divine lightning that descended was a mixture of purple and green. It wasn't the pure great void jade green purple mansion Brahma world destroying divine lightning. Otherwise, even a God realm expert wouldn't be able to block it. It should be that little Qing's cultivation base was limited, and it could only do this much. But even so, it still contained a trace of the true power of the great void jade green purple mansion's nirvana world destroying divine thunder. That was the power to destroy the world. At this moment, all the forces, martial artists, and demonic beasts in the demon land looked at the distant sky in horror. The feeling of the end of the world surged in everyone's heart. Even little Qing's figure was becoming more and more faint as if it would disappear at any moment. This thunderous attack had consumed all of its power. Sheng's face returned to its usual calmness. His hands quickly formed a seal, and lines of golden tadpole-like characters swirled around him like ribbons. With every word that appeared, Sheng's aura weakened a little. Under his control, the armillary sphere gradually stabilized. On it, the stars were still flashing and the Milky Way was still flowing. The stars in the sky began to evolve at this moment. From the chaos, the heavens and earth were born. Tao gave birth to 1, 1 gave birth to 2, 2 gave birth to 3, and 3 gave birth to all things. Martial Tao evolution. Qing Zhu's pupils shrank as it looked at the power of heaven and earth in horror. It was as if endless space and time were in its sight. Its own divine thunder power could destroy thousands of worlds, but it was still the power of the laws of heaven and earth. What the grand microscopic armillary sphere displayed at this moment was the deduction of martial arts, which was moving towards the extreme. Among the great demons in the distance, Li's mind suddenly jolted and he said in shock, "Ge, what do you want to do?" Ge, who was beside him, took a step forward with an indifferent expression. In an instant, he shrunk the ground into inches and appeared under the stars in the sky. Sheng's expression changed, and he asked the same question as Li, Ge, what do you want to do? Lord Sheng, GE replied indifferently, with your current powers and the state of the armillary sphere, you cannot reach the pinnacle of martial arts. You won't be able to take the world-destroying sacred thunder. The aura on his body rose rapidly. A millstone appeared in his palm, which was as big as a futon, and it shone with golden light. Shang seemed to have understood what he was trying to do. GE, get out immediately. GE didn't care at all. Instead, he turned to face the great void jade purple mansion Brahma divine thunder that was coming through space and time. He looked at the golden millstone in his hand with pity and sighed, Lord Sheng, everyone, I'll take my leave first. May I become a star in the sky after I'm born and protect my demon race for all eternity. Don't, GE. Li cried out in grief, 2 streams of tears flowing down his dull face. The rest of them were also trembling. Yu's face darkened, and his face couldn't be seen clearly. Star Iron Golden Demon Millstone. GE circulated the vital chi in his body to the peak, but he only had the appearance of an 8 stars martial grandmaster. The loss of power over tens of thousands of years had made him, who had once stood at the peak of the continent, so weak. However, the Gold Demon Millstone was a genuine 9th-tier mystic artifact. It had long been one with his mind and soul. In an instant, the power of the mystic artifact was unleashed to the extreme. It was like an eternity exploding in the void. The golden light bloomed like a flower, illuminating the vast sky in the dark night. Boom! The great void jade purple mansion's nirvana divine thunder swept across and struck the millstone directly. Without any suspense or resistance, GE's body and the star iron golden demon millstone were instantly turned into ashes. Even a 9th-tier profound artifact would not be able to withstand a single blow from this world-destroying divine thunder. Within the purple and green lightning, there seemed to be a faint soul floating out. It slowly rose up and floated into the endless night sky. It gradually condensed among the stars in the sky and turned into a huge star that was unusually bright. The tears on Li's cheeks stopped flowing. The tears in her eyes glistened, and she bit his lips until they bled. Qing's expression changed. The world-destroying sacred thunder was blocked by GE Shemming, and its color instantly changed. The purple thunder chi almost disappeared, turning into a light blue lightning, and its power was greatly reduced. Martial Dao deduction, Dao transforms all things. Shang's eyes were bone-chillingly cold. Circles of energy were released from the armillary sphere. The green lightning attack was suddenly blocked. It was as if an invisible force was resisting it. The space outside the lightning was constantly shattered. Qing Zhu's expression was extremely ugly. It made a hand seal and said angrily, don't think that this level of martial arts deduction can block my power. Dragon of Lightning, open. Boom. As if the power had reached a balance, it shattered. Under the guidance of the little green incantation seal, the green lightning suddenly exploded, turning into countless lightning dragons under the starry sky. They shuttled in all directions, trying to blow this world apart. Pfft. Shang finally spat out a mouthful of blood. He raised his hand, and a strange symbol appeared in his palm. He slapped it on the armillary sphere. At this moment, the stars in the sky shone brightly. Under the illumination of the power of the stars, the countless lightning dragons were suppressed. No matter how they struggled, they could not escape the dark sky. The light on Qing Zhu's body grew fainter and fainter, as if it would disappear at any moment. He roared, Thunder Dragon, explode. The countless thunderbolts transformed into dragons and instantly grew in radiance. They exploded under the starlight, annihilating all the starlight in the sky. The entire sky was no longer lit up. A huge black hole formed in the sky, devouring everything around it. The black hole didn't just appear in the sky of the demon land. It spread across several worlds and spread terrifyingly. Little Qing, what other trump cards do you have? If you don't have it, then obediently enter my armillary sphere. Now, I'm not only going to take your original body, but I'm also going to refine you back to the Taiwood Qi. Shang's voice suddenly rang out in the dark night. It was emotionless and cold. Qing Zhu's body trembled. The light on its body was dim and unstable, and it could no longer summon any strength. He felt his entire body being bound by a force as he flew up into the sky. His destination gradually brightened up. It was the grand microscopic armillary sphere, emitting a faint light. Sheng stood beside him with a cold expression. The light on the grand microscopic armillary sphere was also very weak, and it could be seen that it was already an arrow at the end of its flight. But even so, little Qing had no other way. He had exhausted all his energy and could only watch helplessly as he was slaughtered. In the distance, Mu Wu, Yuan Sun, and Tang Jia were all dumbfounded and completely petrified. The battle just now had completely exceeded the scope of his understanding and cognition. He only felt that he was like a small boat in the ocean, drifting with the current under those supreme forces, and could capsize at any time. As Qing was gradually recalled, the various forces in the sky also gradually dispersed. A terrifying battle had finally come to an end. Shang's face was extremely pale, and his eyes were as cold as ice. On the other hand, Qing Zhu's face was filled with despair. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, the space fluctuated, and everyone's hearts thumped. It seemed that some powerful figure had arrived. Ripples spread across the vast sky, and a netherworld warship slowly sailed out. The people on the warship were all confused, and the majority of them were women. This is Tianqian, Tianyi Chamber of Commerce? Under everyone's astonished gazes, the netherworld battleship of the Tianyi Chamber of Commerce made its grand entrance. This is a Kasaya. The first thing Yunxiao saw was Shang and little Qing. Little Qing's body was now shrouded in a dim light and looked defeated, while Shang was staring at their warship with a cold face. Not good, little Qing is dying. His aura is so weak. Lil Wu's voice was heard, and he said in a hurry, quickly save him. Yunxiao's heart jolted. At first glance, he recognized Shang as the man in the center of the demon's sacrificial array. Although he could not see his face clearly at that time, he had recognized him at first glance. Soon, he found that Yu and a few other monsters, as well as Mu Wu and the others, were all there. Lady Qing Luo, these are the members of the skeleton mercenaries. Let's go. Yunxiao cried out as he soared up from the warship and headed toward little Qing. Qing Luo and the others also discovered Tang Jia's existence, and their eyes revealed great joy. Mu Wu and Yuan Sun, on the other hand, were looking at Yunxiao with a stunned expression. Qing gave Yunxiao a weak look and said in surprise, "It's really you, Lil Wu?" Shang's eyes darkened and he snorted coldly. He flicked his index finger on the axis of the armillary sphere, and a beam of starlight streaked across space and shot down. In his eyes, Yunxiao was a piece of trash whose cultivation base was not even as good as his, and he could kill him in a second with a snap of his fingers. In the distance, Yu's heart trembled as he shouted in shock, "Lord Shang, he's the one." Shang frowned and could not react for a moment, but he saw Yunxiao twist his body in the air and avoid his lightning-fast killing strike in a strange posture. Then, a golden light flashed between Yunxiao's eyebrows, and the Divine Realm tablet suddenly came out. Two streams of territory power spread out and suppressed one side of the sky. The other party was the demon race within the sacrificial array. Coupled with what had happened to the Flying Frost sect and the Mando Chamber of Commerce, he did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. He used all his trump cards right from the start. Shang's eyes fell on the Divine Realm tablet and felt the power of the territory that had locked the space. His pupils suddenly shrank, and he looked horrified. Yu had reported to him about this young man's situation. Not only was he extremely powerful, but he also had a profound level weapon that was no less powerful than the Taiwei armillary sphere. He didn't react to Yu's shout just now, but now that he felt the pressure of the territory power, he understood. The armillary sphere's absorption power seemed to have been interrupted by the power of the territory, and little Qing stopped in midair. Shang was extremely anxious. After paying such a huge price, if he couldn't capture little Qing, all his efforts would be in vain. "Brat, get lost," he said angrily. He slapped his palm on the armillary sphere, and a cluster of stars emerged behind him. But the range of the stars was limited, and they all came crashing toward Yunxiao. Yunxiao was also taken aback. A mystic artifact that could produce such a phenomenon was definitely not an ordinary item. He grabbed the Divine Realm tablet, circulated his spirit power, and threw it at the armillary sphere like throwing a discus. As an alchemist, he was passionate about the study and refinement of profound-level weapons. He did not cherish the profound-level weapons themselves, and even the Divine Realm tablet, a supreme-grade profound-level weapon, was like a ball to him. The golden light on the Divine Realm tablet shone brightly, and all kinds of symbols flashed one by one. They drew a long golden line in the air and struck the strange phenomenon in the starry sky. Sheng's expression changed drastically. He was now on the brink of death. He barely managed to use the armillary sphere, but how could he withstand the impact of the Divine Realm tablet's two forces of territory? The phenomenon in the starry sky dissipated at that moment. Moreover, the Divine Realm tablet's target was the grand microscopic armillary sphere, so it crashed into it directly. Boom! The two pieces of transcendent-grade profound-level weapons clashed together and a strange light burst out. It spread out in circles, and the two profound-level weapons seemed to be stuck together, constantly squeezing each other. The grand microscopic armillary sphere was already at its end, and the power that the Divine Realm tablet could exert was very limited. It had actually formed a delicate balance and was at a stalemate. A black color started to appear around the two profound-level weapons and started to spread outwards. Golden tadpole-like characters also started to rise from their bodies. They flashed into the black chi and were extremely dazzling. In the end, they disappeared. Sheng's pupils constricted, and his sharp eyes stared at the golden tadpole-like characters on the Divine Realm tablet without blinking. His eyes were full of excitement, and his body trembled slightly, as if he was forcing himself to remember it. Yunxiao's face was also solemn. He had never seen most of the tadpole-like characters on the Taiwei armillary sphere, so he did not care about them at first. But when he saw Sheng's excitement, he began to remember them. Boom boom boom. Under the pressure of the two profound-level weapons, the sky let out a muffled sound and was shattered everywhere. Bang! All of a sudden, a shattering sound came from the Taiwei armillary sphere, and a tiny hole appeared on the axis of heaven that was revolving above it. Although the sound was soft, it was like a thunderclap in Sheng's heart. His eyes were hollow from shock, and his mouth was wide open enough to fit a foot in. He looked as ugly as he could be. He instantly came back to his senses and realized that things were bad. It was just that this armillary sphere had been passed down for countless years and he had never heard of it being damaged. Even if his life force was about to dissipate, he would at most be jolted back, but he didn't expect it to be shattered by the other party's profound weapon. That was a sacred item passed down from ancient times. It was actually destroyed? He was so shocked that he felt a chill all over his body. He no longer cared about grabbing Chang and hurriedly made a hand seal to retrieve the armillary sphere. After breaking the axis of the armillary sphere, the Divine Realm tablet had also been greatly consumed. It lost all its light and flew back into Yunxiao's forehead, then floated above his dantian as if it had fallen asleep. Yunxiao's face was also extremely pale. Under the attack just now, all the spiritual energy he had circulated had been consumed. However, Sheng's situation was even worse. The armillary sphere was connected to his mind, and the damage to the axis had not only depleted the armillary sphere's last bit of life force, but it had also caused him great damage. His body was swaying in the air, as if he was going to fall at any moment. Qing felt the binding force on its body suddenly disappear, and it instantly recovered. He was overjoyed. Using the last of his strength, he turned into a bolt of lightning and was about to disappear into the sky. The great demons were both shocked and furious. They rose into the sky and charged over. However, other than Li, the other three were covered in injuries, especially Yu, who was a bloody mess. He gritted his teeth and slashed with his sword. The people on the Netherworld battleship snorted coldly. Apart from Yu, who was a martial emperor, the other three were all martial grandmasters. How could they pay any attention to them? They showed contempt and attacked boldly. However, as soon as they touched it, the result left everyone dumbfounded. Several martial emperors of the Empyrean One Pavilion were instantly turned into ashes. Qing Luo's heart jolted and she rushed out in horror. She expanded her domain in an attempt to trap the three of them. However, she was shocked to find that they were not affected at all. Instead, an aura of death enveloped them. At this moment, a few powerful auras that had been hidden in the battleship also appeared. 3 rays of light shot towards you and the others. Yunxiao's face flickered as he looked at the profound level weapons in the hands of the few demons in horror. They were 100% genuine 9th tier fluctuations. He immediately reacted. Qing Luo and the 3 martial venerables were definitely not able to stop these great demons. Although they were all severely injured, the profound level weapons in their hands were still emitting a soul-shaking aura. He shouted at Mu Wu and Yuan Sun in the distance, "Hurry up and attack." Mu Wu hesitated for a moment, then resolutely stepped into the air and attacked the demons. Yuan Sun's eyes narrowed slightly, still wavering. Yunxiao's face turned cold as he said in a cold voice, "Do you still want to be a woman in this life?" Yuan Sun's entire body trembled, and he seemed to have given in. He braced himself and charged at the great demon. In his eyes, becoming a real woman was more important than anything else. "You guys deal with these scum, I'll go save Lord Sheng." Yu roared, her face filled with rage. Fu's body was covered in blood, and his face could not be seen clearly. He raised his battle axe high and shouted, "All of you, go over there. Leave this trash to me." A Xian flower axe. He let out a loud shout and swept his battle axe across the sky. The light cut across the sky and covered all 4 people of the Tianyi Chamber of Commerce. He wanted to kill them in one blow. "Be careful, everyone." A martial honor expert of the Tianyi Chamber of Commerce shot a cold look at her. He raised a small green flag high in the air, and instantly, 4 large flags appeared around him. They fluttered in the wind and protected Qing Luo and the 4 of them. The Xianhua axe struck the big flag and with a loud bang, the boundary formed by the 4 big flags suddenly split open. The small green flag in the hands of the martial honored was also broken with a bang. The might of a 9th tier profound armament was unstoppable. If not for little Qing's ability to transform its body into lightning, it would have been killed by the attacks of the great demons without even needing the referee to intervene. Although the talisman could exert 100% of the axe's power, the consumption was also great. The axe just now had absorbed all the vital qi in his body, and he was completely pale, almost unable to stand. Qing Luo and the other 3's faces also turned pale. They knew very well how powerful that battle flag was, yet it couldn't even withstand a single blow from the enemy. They instantly felt a chill run down their spines, and their will to fight was completely dispelled. They quickly retreated back to the Netherworld warship. When Talisman was released, Yuan Yi had rushed past the people of the Tianyi Merchant Association and headed towards Sheng. Mu Wu took a step in the air, and a cold, rhombus-shaped profound level weapon appeared in his hand. He smashed it down on their heads and shouted coldly, "Stop. You're looking for death. Break." Isha spat out the words with a strong killing intent. He swiped his claw down and the 5 sharp blades immediately cut 5 spatial cracks in the sky. Mu Wu's rhomboid profound level weapon was destroyed with a bang. The spatial cracks were blocked and 3 of them disappeared immediately. The remaining 2 grew bigger and bigger, heading towards Mu Wu, wanting to cut him into pieces. The heart of spring. The sound of stellar energy could be heard. Several green streams of energy shuttled through the air in a strange trajectory, forming a slash in front of Mu Wu, ruthlessly clashing with the 2 spatial cracks. Boom. The green and black energy collided and completely disappeared. The shockwaves were extremely strong, shattering Mu Wu's white clothes. His long hair fluttered and he took a few steps back in the air before stabilizing himself. However, there was no fear in his eyes. Instead, he became more and more excited, and his fighting spirit swelled. Yuan Sun appeared from behind him and said gently, "Fortunately, he acted in time. Otherwise, you would have been turned into minced meat." His gaze greedily scanned Mu Wu's body from head to toe. Mu Wu's white clothes were in tatters, revealing a tight white suit. His slender figure was extremely good, and when Yuan Sun's eyes landed on him, they were filled with splendor. Mu Wu spat out a mouthful of blood. The qi and blood in his body, which had been in turmoil from the aftershock, finally stabilized. Hearing this pervert's words and his lecherous gaze, he couldn't suppress it any longer and vomited blood. He gritted his teeth and said, "If you look at me again, I'll kill you first, you pervert."